So I have two relatively first world problems. One, I have a lot of yarn. Yikes. And two, there's so many things that one can make and do that deciding on your next project can always feel like a waiting decision. So I think I found a solution for both these problems, and that would be simply to not make a decision at all and let fate make the choice for me. Let's see where that takes us. Hey y'all, my name is Biscuit and welcome to my channel, Binky and Biscuit. Welcome to the new series of my channel, The Wheel of Crochet. This is where we will spin a wheel online to let it decide what we make next. This idea is inspired by a video Cassie did over on Pieces of Scrap, where she also let a wheel decide what she makes. She also let it decide her color palette, but I'm doing it differently. Here's how it will work for me. I will put a few base plushie ideas on a wheel and spin it to let it decide 3 different projects I'll make in today's video. I'll either find a pattern that fits the prompt, or make one myself and get right into the project. All patterns I use will be linked in the description below. What's also fun is that the plushies we make in today's video will be available for sale on my online shop if you see something you like. I ended up deciding I want to run my own website rather than stick to a selling platform, but that means I have to make a lot of stock. Can't have a shop with no product now. So be sure to check out binkyandbiscuit.org/shop at the end of this episode to support me and the channel. Ad aside, let's spin the first wheel. We got a flower doll, perfect for spring coming up. I found this pattern by Happy Little Loop Crochet using chenille yarn, but I think it'll also look good in acrylic, which is what I usually do. The pattern is free, so you can't really beat that. Without further ado, let's get started. The pattern calls that we start with the limbs for its little flower body, so the first thing I make is some standard tubes for the arms. I crochet along the top to shut each tube. Then for the legs, I make a half sphere-like shape. I leave the first one open at the top and cut my ends. Then for the second one, I leave it attached to the yarn so I can crochet them together. I do 1 crochet in the second leg and then do a single crochet around all its stitches to secure the connection. I continue going up to form the body. Occasionally I'll do a row with a few decreases to help further shape it. As I go up, I'm sure to connect the arms by crocheting it directly into the body as I go along. And here's our little dude so far. This pattern calls for making the head directly into the body piece, which is pretty unusual for me. I messed up the first few rows actually and had to redo it, mostly because the pattern called for me to start in the front loops only. I continue into the previous green rounds with some purple increases to form the face. I do some rows of increasing until the head is a sufficient size, then close it up. I also stuff the yarn ends into the plushie. Next step is the petals, which is in fact a separate piece I have to sew on. I was gonna go for some more pinkish petals, but instead opted to do a purple flower instead. I just thought it would look better. These pieces require you to make a long chain that will wrap around the head. From there, I make some different types of stitches in each chain going down to form each petal. Mostly a mix of half double crochets, double crochets, and triple crochets. For the eyes, I decided in this video I'm going to make mostly felt-eyed dolls, so I cut out a bunch of pieces to make more detailed looking pupils, but ended up liking a more simple look instead. I sew on each felt piece by hand, using the closest color match I had in my thread stash. And that's it! Well, with that done, let's spin the wheel again. we got an axolotl. I had some trouble with this one. There's a ton of great crochet patterns for axolotls, but I couldn't quite find one that fit what I was looking for. A lot of the patterns I found used pretty bulky chenille and not worsted weight acrylic, so I didn't think it would look right for me. So I basically decided to make my own pattern. I used this pattern by Sweet Bee Creations as visual inspiration though. Now let's get started. First step is the head, which I do by making a basic sphere. Nothing much to really say here, so I'll use this chance to have a little chat with y'all. Avid watchers of mine will notice this is my first full video I've done in a while, and that's mainly because I decided to take a little break from long form content. But now that I've returned, I have lots of fun ideas planned. A future video I'm planning on doing is another doll project, featuring a new pattern I've worked up, so stay tuned for that. I have so many ideas it's kinda overwhelming my brain, so I'm doing my best to keep track of it all to avoid overworking myself. I'll manage though. With the head done, I move on to making the limbs. I make a basic magic ring, and when I start increasing around, I add some puff stitches in there for little fingers / toes. I taper them off at the bottom for the rest of the arm. Then I make 3 more. I continue into the body where I make a magic ring and do a few increases off of it. I begin attaching the legs by crocheting them directly into the body. I go up from here a few rows, then attach the arms the same exact way. I finish off by tapering the top and stuffing it tightly. I sew the body piece to the head. For the little feeler things that axolotls are known for, I'm not really sure what they're called, I use a darker pink. I make this little shape, crochet it shut, and folded them a little. I make 2 more and string them together so they will fit on the side of the face. Then it's time to sew them in place. I did the same thing for the other side, sorta. I ended up running out of the pink color, so I redid it all with another pink. Whoopsie. The tail was a simple piece. I made a cone shape and then did 5 double crochets off the tip in a darker pink to make the little fin. I stuff it firmly and sew it onto the booty. Onto the final step already, and that is the face. I made a little template for the eyes using the yarn packaging I had. Then I cut the shapes for the eyes in this bluish green color. I also cut out some pupils in black and white eye shines. To assemble the pieces, I used thread and corresponding colors. Then I sew it to the face. And we're all done. Alright, time to spin the wheel a final time. Last but not least, we got a bunny. I guess we get another spring-themed plush for this video, huh? I had a hard time finding a pattern I liked for this project initially, but eventually I found this one by Blue Rabbit Toys. I think this will be a cute one, so let's get started. I decided to use a variegated yarn for this bunny, since the pattern is mostly all one color. It should add some visual interest at least. Regardless, I start with the head by making a sphere shape again. I hope y'all don't mind this filming angle. I was at my local library and I was trying something different for recording. Let's see if it sticks for future videos. When I get a few rows in, I do some rows of single crochet between the increases to help with the head shaping. I go around until I'm happy with the size and then do some rows of decreasing. I'm stuffing the head as I go along. Then I close it up. The body is made in a similar fashion, except when I do increasing rows, I don't do any single crochet rows in between. I instead taper off some decreasing rows as I go up. I go until it's a sufficient oval shape. For the ears, I make a little nugget shape. I forgot to stuff it before I made the hole too small, so I guess it'll remain unstuffed here. It holds a shape fine anyway. I just do that twice. The arms are the same thing, but this time it's a thinner nugget shape, and I intentionally don't stuff it. I know, the variety of descriptions here. The feet are similar to how I made the ears actually. They're just smaller and flatter. I didn't really record this process to avoid repetition. The puffball tail is a super simple and tiny little sphere. Both the feet and tails called for a different color in the pattern, but I decided to stick with one type of yarn for my bunny. Time for the fun part, assembly. I didn't follow the instructions entirely on the pattern and did my own thing here mostly. I don't usually like to follow assembly instructions all the time unless I'm feeling stuck. And yes, it does bite me in the ass more often than not. Anyway, I start with the head by attaching the ears. I eyeball where they will fit on top of the head. Then I fit the body onto the head. Maybe I should start following the instructions because this came out a little off center and I had to fudge it into place to look right. The feet get sewn on. Then the tail. And then the arms. I stuff in the ends and everything is together. The eyes I had trouble deciding what to do entirely, but I chose some black ovals with little eye shines. Figured it would help them stand out against the variegation if they're colored flat. I sewed the details on. Now we are done! Time for a little montage. Let's go over my work one by one, starting with the flower doll. This little guy is quite adorable, and the pattern was lovely as well. If I do make this again though, I might modify it a bit. Despite it being a really cool method, I don't entirely like how the head is crocheted into the body with how it looks. Mainly, I ended up with some gapping on top, which is totally a me problem and not the pattern. Overall, I think it's a lovely little guy for spring coming up. Next, let's go over the axolotl. I'm so happy with this pattern, you have no idea. It's so freaking cute. I actually ended up starting a cyan axolotl in my free time. I was nervous initially, I made the eyes too big. Honestly, I think it fits. 5 out of 5 stars. Favorite project of this video, no doubt. Finally, the bunny. This guy came out a bit bigger than I expected, but hey, I'm not upset. The colors are extraordinary because of the yarn I used. As well, the pattern was really easy to follow and well written. I want to make more of these bunnies for sure. The subtle shaping really gets me on this one. Some good news to close things off. As well as selling these plushies on my website, I'm going to do a vendor event later this month, and if I still have them, I'll bring them. I've spent months compiling my stock and I'm really excited to go. I see plenty of other crochet YouTubers make market summary videos, so if you guys are interested in me doing that, let me know in the comments. Also leave a comment if you want to see more videos in this series. Be sure to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you're interested in more of my content. Thanks again, Cassie, for letting me use your idea, and I'll see you folks in the next video. Bye bye now!